Mis amigos del mundo digital. My friends from the digital world.
Just I think it's for different kind of communication.
So this platform is especially made for making interviews and to record in best quality. Because on Zoom there is always this crackling sound, right? And if the connection is not very well, then it makes some crackling noises and it's not so good. So, ¿qué tal, Carlos? Es un placer de conocerte.
Igual, pues. Mira qué interesante. ¿Tú trabajas en estos campos de las comunicaciones?
No, para nada. Es un hobby. Es solo un hobby.
La social media is a hobby for you, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yo también. A ver, ¿puedo presionar el botón guess record? Are you recording right now?
Yes, I am recording, but...
Yes.
But of course, I won't publish it, right? It's a test. And
okay, right.
In any case, I always do edit stuff that I do, and I don't publish the whole thing.
Right.
And in this case, it will be your interview, right? Because you want to make the interview with me. So now it's just to chat together and...
I am the host here?
No, I am the host here right now, but I mean, you asked me that you wanted to interview me, right?
Right, yeah, okay. But you said that you have a paid account on this platform?
Yes, exactly. I have to pay on a monthly basis because I have also a podcast, right? And I have a YouTube channel. Yes, I have a podcast.
But
it's
a video podcast or only the
both. My
stuff.
Fluent podcast originally was only audio, but now I have a YouTube channel as well, and I publish a video too.
What kind of story do you upload? Do you have?
So always about language learning, because I started out with the podcast in English to get my English practice, because I was not used to speak fluently, and this was my tool how I could improve my speaking.
Please update info. Where are you from?
I come from Switzerland, from the German-speaking part of Switzerland.
Switzerland, yes, right. So your native language is German?
Yes, it's Swiss German, but it's not the same than standard German. Because we have a lot of different dialects.
Yes, I guess that's a kind of 3 or more dialect you have?
We have many dialects because, in my case, I come from a district which is surrounded by mountains, and our accent is considered to be very
local,
thick. Other German-speaking people don't understand me well when I am using my own vocabulary because they are really exotic.
And how do you communicate? The people have to learn the different local languages?
I mean, I can adapt my accent, and we also have standard German. Everyone understands standard German.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew, in Switzerland we have 4 languages. It's French, Italian, German, and Reto-Romanic. But only 40,000 people speak it.
40,000, yes, only 40,000. That's the more the language that is spoken for less people.
It is spoken by only one region, the Reto-Romanic, but Swiss German is the dialect which is spoken the most in Switzerland. And then French, and then Italian. Yes.
I think it's interesting that in general in Europe. The other day I was talking with a guy that said that in Europe it's normal to manage 3 or more languages. It's quite to have well, here in Chile just one language, but just a few. I think we have the knowledge, a bit of knowledge of the English language, because it's not part of the culture. I think in Europe, that's I'm trying to say that in Europe, I think it's a kind of culture to manage more than 2 or 3 languages.
Yes, and I have to tell you this because my favorite English teacher comes from Chile, and
Really?
yes, really, and I had many italki lessons with him, and he was really my favorite teacher because it was like talking to a friend, and I liked that very much. And he told me that in his case it was really difficult to find like-minded people who are also learning other languages, because he's learning about 10 languages, he's really a language lover. And
Your
and
teacher,
yes,
he speaks so many languages?
yes, he speaks so
She
many
or he?
languages, and he is a translator as well. So it's his profession and passion as well.
Yeah.
Yes, he's called Mario.
Mario.
Yes.
And only just to know how you have to pay for an hour of italki class.
I have to pay $15 a month, and I have 5 hours at my disposal. Yeah, it's very expensive, but the quality is really good.
Do you find expensive?
Yes, $15 a month for only 5 hours. So if I have one interview that has two hours, and then another one, and then it's finished for 1 month.
when I registered to the italki last year, as a new person there, I had a chance to take 3 test class, but I took just one class for Chilean pesos, maybe. I think it was 30 minutes for about almost $10,
Mm-hmm.
in my money, yeah, almost $10 for 30 minutes, because that's
Okay, no, but I meant this was for the subscription of Riverside here to record. I am paying $15 a month.
No. I asking you, how are you charged for your italki class?
No, because on italki it depends. Every teacher can decide how much they wanna earn.
Yeah.
So I have to pick a teacher, and everyone has his own rates, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, right.
Yes.
So and how? But this teacher is teaching you English. You said, no?
Yes,
Spanish.
English. Yes, English.
Yeah.
But
And what about with the Spanish language? Are you trying to learn too?
yes, I want to improve it, but it's not my focus right now.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I am more focused on my English right now. Because you have to know that my father is from Argentina. So when I was little, I was always talking in Spanish, and nowadays I don't use it anymore, or not that often, and so I got a bit rusty.
Yeah. Rusty. You see, that's a word. Just yesterday I learned that's a word because with a lady from the US, an old lady. Because he wanted to talk in Spanish with me, but that's where it was new for me. The rusty.
Okay, I see. And
Yeah.
I think your channel is so beautiful, and you're actually doing what I also want to do. You interview other language learners, and this is so inspiring. And for me, sometimes it's very difficult to find people who want to tell their story.
Yeah.
But I love that to listen to other stories. Yes.
Well, that is stuff that I was thinking it would be interesting for people to know people trying to learn English from different background, different mother tongue. What difficulties we have in the process. Yeah.
Yes. And also, I read that you have been podcasting since 2005, right?
Yeah.
This is incredible. Incredible.
You see, I was the pioneer in podcasting technology in South America, you know. I was the first guy in the entire South America that started with using, and that's the reason because I received here in my hometown, San Fernando, different students of journalism, and they final word tests on podcasting because it was a really new technology.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you see, I've been, well, perhaps you have known my background that I was for a long time a radio listener before the internet era. That's why I have a background. I spent many hours of my time in the past just listening radios through shortwave radios, different stations. But I always interested in only in the English language, no other language.
Only English.
Yeah.
You were listening only to English radios? No.
Well, yes. When you scroll, well, the scroll is for down page. When you move into the radio spectrum on shortwave band, you can find different languages, different power of signal, good signal, bad signal. But my motivation was that what I heard. This is the BBC World Service from London. Very good English, very good quality. So cool. But I couldn't get that stuff because I was a boy, a young adult at that time, already 70s, 60s, I don't know. That's why my motivation to start learning. Well, and then I discovered some months ago, este es el servicio latinoamericano de la BBC y ahora nuestro programa Inglés por Radio. Entonces I discovered that the BBC in several branches has English language courses. So I was following, you see, I'm talking about the time when you didn't have the chance to record. That's because the audio recording machine was after a long time. So that's my choice from radio.
And your very first podcast, was it in English or in Spanish?
No, you say in Spanish because you see, in my podcast, I also been uploading in the past. I have so many recordings from BBC English by radio program because knowing the world of radio station, I discovered that the international radio station from different countries, they had a section, a brand called the transcription services. So they send to overseas, small developing countries radio station, a kind of program in Spanish or, from BBC, they had a BBC English by radio program and another program in Spanish. So sometimes I was working in a radio, local radio,
yes.
And they sent a letter telling that I'm interested in broadcast, quotation, my station, a BBC English by radio program. So that is the reason I have a very good records from BBC English by radio program. And those programs, at that time I remember it was on disc, old vinyl disc. You see vinyl or vinyl?
I have no idea. I think vinyl, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
Yeah, vinyl. We're going to pronounce vinyl. And I have digitalize those stuff. And I uploaded it to my podcast site. I discovered in your profile that you also have an account on livesyn.com.
Yes, exactly. That is the place where my Fluent podcast is published.
Yeah.
And I recommend it. Well, I'm happy with it.
I had an account from that time, 2005. Just the basic account, $6 from the beginning. I'm paying $6 a month from the beginning. Yeah. But right now I'm uploading from time to time the same audio that I put it in my YouTube.
Oh,
channel.
you are reproducing it or republishing it, the same content?
Well, yes, I'm republishing the audio, just the audio from some of the videos. Because you see, when I started my, well, right now I have more time for this stuff because I was retired just from the past October, you know. And that, in the other, from that moment back, it was only a weekend hobby for me.
Yeah, I see.
That's not much time, but now I'm enjoying. That's what I tell people.
You deserve it. You can enjoy it now because I am working, right? So I don't have that much time to spend for my hobby, which is podcasting and making videos, and it takes so much time, right, to learn all the editing stuff and so on. But it's a great passion of mine. It's not only learning languages, but it's also podcasting and making videos.
The same to me, you know. We are similar.
I have a second podcast which is called The Woke Up Man. So every time when I come across an English expression or a word that I want to learn, then I make an episode out of it. And I gather different examples also from the TV and so on. And then I teach it to the world. So then it's a win-win situation. I can learn and others can learn. And
no, I think I'm going to follow. I think that's very interesting for me because right now I'm focusing in you see, acquiring more vocabulary in my English and just my ear to practice the listening skill because you see, I've been studying English by my own, some courses in the past, cassette tape courses. Well, in the internet here, there's so many very good sites to follow.
Yes, and actually my latest episode is exactly about how to use podcasts to learn a language. And I had an interview with a guy from the UK, and he explained in detail how we can learn with the help of podcasts. Because oftentimes, you know, there are also transcripts available. And then you can use them and you can focus on details and then repeat it. It is called shadowing. You can try to reproduce it by your own. And this way you can really improve your English skills.
I forgot to tell you that in my radio time, I discovered from Voice of America, well, the regular broadcast, but someday I discovered this is the voice. Oh, sorry, my mic was so far away from me.
Now it's way louder.
Sorry. Oh, you see, I forget that stuff. And I discovered a program. This is the Voice of America broadcasting in special English. Here is the news. So I discovered they have a bunch of people doing program, audio program, science, education, technology, wherever, politics, American history, in this kind of English. And they call it a special English. They say they invented that concept at that time. You see, that's a long concept. The Voice of America have been using that stuff for more than 50 years, you know, from the radio time. But now they have all that stuff on the website. And it's very good. It was very good for me right now because I can listen in slow English and I can new words. Or you can, when you are in the beginning, I think it's a very good tool for learning a language. So that's one of the reasons that I do my audio reading in Spanish in my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think the texts sometimes are highlighted, and it's really good to learn. I noticed that.
That's the
So
idea because you see, I took the books that Chilean students use for the purpose of reading our learning how to read our Spanish text. So in the book, the instructions for the teacher says, now your teacher is going to read for you this short story. And the recommendation are, please follow with your finger while your teacher is reading. So with the software I discovered with the Camtasia Studio, this is the software that I use for video editing. I discovered that I put a line running under the text
yeah,
line.
Camtasia, Camtasia, or how is it
Camtasia,
called?
Camtasia.
Okay,
Well,
I
well,
use the same. I use the same.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
very popular for
it's.
the people who do tutorial and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said Camtasia is a more easy way for it in Spanish, but in English they say Camtasia Studio, Camtasia,
Yeah, I
something.
guess so.
So we have a pretty similar interest, Use
Yeah, and
the same stuff.
I remember when I was listening to podcasts for the very first time, nobody knew what a podcast is. So I was the only one because my friends,
And
they
how
did
long
they,
was it?
oof, I can't remember exactly, maybe 12 years ago, maybe, or yeah, maybe 12 years
Well,
ago. Or,
yeah, okay. So yeah, that you see that, but podcast has been running just from that time for just a few years. It
yeah.
started, I think, in English. It started in 2004, and in Spanish, Spain was the first guy in Spanish language. But I have the honor to be the first Latin American podcaster in Spanish.
And how exactly is your podcast called? I mean, the very first
Chile,
one.
Chile podcast. Chile
Okay.
podcast.
And
And I remember that I bought that domain,
mhm.
chilepodcast.cl. And we have a regular address from Livesyn, I don't remember, Livesyn / Chile podcast, something like that.
But is it still available on the web?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You can,
I am very
yeah,
curious now.
sure, yeah. And there, in that site, I'm telling you, well, I could publish a kind of category. Well, in YouTube you call it playlist. Maybe in playlist you
Yes.
upload different stuff. Yeah, and there I was uploading some of my BBC files, English courses. I think there one section that I remember. It would be very useful for you because it was a kind of British and versus American English, a series of audio drama stuff explaining the difference, how
Mhm.
Americans said that expression, how the British people say that expression. That would be very useful for you.
Yes. I will check it out.
So you have to dive into chilepodcast.cl. Yeah,
Yes. Perfect.
quite interesting. So you find me where? You find me on Facebook?
Yes, on Facebook. I guess I saw you on the Kangaroo English group or on the
Maybe.
Maofen group.
Yeah.
I can't
And also
remember. And then I
the
saw
chat
one
box.
of your links.
Do you
Yes,
belong to the chat box?
the chat box. Maybe from the chat box. And there I saw the link to your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then I watched some of your videos, but this was some weeks ago, couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
I noticed it, and then I watched some of the interviews because this is what I like the most.
Yeah.
And then I thought this is so great, and also because you are you were a radio moderator and podcaster, and it was quite inspiring to me. And also, of course, you're an English teacher as well.
No,
and
you see, strictly talking, I'm not an English teacher, because I'm an elementary school teacher. But
yes,
my interest for English language, as I told you, started from when I was an adolescent child, I remember, with radio. But my degree is elementary school teacher. That's why I was a teacher of English, but only in elementary school level. From time to time, I had the chance to teach in high school, short periods, but I had to get a permission from the local educational authorities because I don't have the degree of English teacher. My youngest son is a teacher of English. He's 33.
Carlos.
Carlos. I had an interview. Well, you see,
Yes. Yeah, I watched it. Or
talking with my son Carlos, started the idea to start talking with people, Last year, when I was still working, the first time I was trying to invite people, Chilean teachers, who were using my video books for teaching Spanish. Please try to come and invite people. How do you use my YouTube videos? But I had only just a few responses to my request from Chilean teachers. So then the time was going on, and then I discovered last year, when I had more time, free time from last October, I started opening my request for talking with people to a large audience. So I discovered,
how did you do that?
Well, my idea came from, you see, I'm telling you. I said, why I don't invite, because why I'm limiting only teachers, only Chilean people. I think I'm going to open my invitation to a worldwide audience. Yes. So then I started with my playlist, My Friends from the Digital World. And I started sending invitations through Facebook group, and also from Tandem, I discovered Tandem. Do you know Tandem?
Yes, I know Tandem. It's a great platform to work with another partner and like a language exchange, right?
Yeah. I discovered that stuff. Yes, listening last year a podcast from London. I think it was the Luke podcast. Perhaps you know the Luke.
Luke's
podcast.
English podcast. I interviewed him as well for my Fluent podcast. I have him. He was one of my first. Yes, he was one of my first ones, and I was so scared. I was trembling because I am a huge fan of him. Yes.
Yes, he's a personality in the podcasting world. Yeah. Well, you see, I was thinking to send him an invitation, but you see, I don't know. Perhaps in the future, because it's a thing.
You should do it, definitely. I'm sure he will agree. I will accept the invitation, of course.
Yes, I'll try to. Yes, you see, I have a playlist in my YouTube, my subscription. I have a lot of guys from. The other day on Tandem, one of the party was called "Recommend." Please say what is your favorite podcast and YouTube channel to follow for learning languages in general. So I took part in that party, and I was receiving very interesting feedback. Different websites for learning English, for English interest in different science, psychology, different stuff. You see, it's I think that's a way I love to talk with people, because I'm learning new stories with different people, We have a world,
absolutely.
And the people have another world. So I like to talk with you. So you see, if you are recording this stuff, I think it's good for just publishing in my channel, if you give me the permission.
Of course, I will give you the permission. But just so you know, in the beginning, yes, the audio was a little bit not so good. Not so good. Not so good, but it was. How do you say it? Because your microphone was far away.
But I can up the volume of that session in the editing stuff. Well, it was, I don't know. You see, sometimes perhaps I had to buy another kind of mic to pick me from far away. Yes, quite interesting.
Yes, I am really chuffed, and I am thrilled because it's so interesting. And for me, yes, sometimes it's difficult to reach out to people or to find people who want to participate. When I am doing like a post on Facebook, nobody answers, or not that many people. But when I ask people in person or
Yeah.
when I send them a private message, then chances are higher that they want to participate. But when I just do a post
Yeah,
in which
yeah,
I
yeah.
ask them who wants to participate, and nobody
Yeah,
cares. I don't
it
I
is.
don't know why.
It is the same to me, because I have to text a one-to-one person in
Mhm.
order to convince him. Well, I think my main source for guests right now has been tandem app. I've been talking in different parties, talking different topic, and then after a while I said, I'm a podcaster. I'm trying to know
I
people
see.
who want to take part in my YouTube channel in English or in Spanish, 15, 20 minutes. What's that? Yes, and blah, blah, blah. I explain. It's the same that we are doing right now here, just talking different topics, and with a
Exactly.
video stuff, one to one, no a bunch of people in the same room. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. And some people say, "Oh yes, okay, let's do it right now." And the next time, I'm talking with them. You see, one of the latest video. Remember the ladies from Indonesia,
Mhm.
Philippines. That was I met them. I met him last night, and the next day we're just talking.
Yeah, in my
Yeah.
case, for example, I had an interview with a hypnotist. I had an interview with an accent coach. I had an interview with a teacher from Senegal, and I mean, this is so great because these are all
Sure.
people that usually in my day-to-day life I
Yeah.
would never have the possibility to talk
Sure.
to these fantastic people, and this is so beautiful that the internet makes it possible. And
Sure.
yeah,
No.
it's like you can see another world. Yeah,
Sure.
you can get to know people and other cultures and how they think. And also
Yeah.
great when I pick up or when I notice some expressions that they are using during the interview, I pick it up, right? I jot it down, and then I try to learn it. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
for me, there are different components. So it's not just an interview. No, I also try to make a transcript, and then I try to learn English and so on.
And how do
So,
you do? Just listening and writing down, listening and writing down.
well, these days
Or do you have
there
a
is.
software?
I have a software. I have DXer, it is called, and it makes the transcript. But of course, there are a lot of mistakes. So you have to listen again, and then you have to correct it. And by doing so, you also get used to the language.
Is that an app from Google? Because from
No.
Google there is an app called Transcribe, something like that, and I use it. It's a very good job, Very, yes, and in different languages,
Okay, yes, Google Translate is good, but I think there is another software called DeepL.
Yes, I
This
use it.
is way better, and there are many languages in
Do
it.
you use it on a PC or in a cell phone?
I use it on my PC and on my cell phone, both. And I also have a subscription because
pay subscription, no.
yes, because I really love what they are doing, and I want to support the company, the enterprise, and yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's website I learned from DXer. Talking to DXer, you see in the chat box, that's a Facebook group that has been running for a teacher in Argentina,
Yes, Katy
Ortega. And one day I heard a teacher of English from the United States, perhaps, the Dawn Peacock. She posts.
Yes.
Everything. So the first talk that I heard when the Don Pico was just the first days in the group, she was talking about the DeepL translation
Oh, I see.
tools. So since then I've been using that tool because it's quite good. I had a talk with Don Pico, but in Spanish. She speaks Spanish, I think, better than me.
In Spanish. I didn't know, so I have to check it out and have a listen to it. It's great.
Well, she's a teacher of English, but in my talk, she told me the story. She started learning Spanish in high school and had a very good friend, a classmate from Latino, and she was always interested in Spanish language. And right now, there's little sons speak Spanish every day with her, and with her husband, they kids speak in English. It's quite interesting story. But very good Spanish, no problem. She's very fluent,
Yeah, and well, she focuses a lot on intonation when she teaches English.
Yeah.
This is her thing, intonation.
Yeah.
How to use it, and I think there are not so many teachers out there that are teaching this.
Yeah, she emphasized that stuff in every chapter, in every post. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's okay. I remember the episode about wood. You see a lot of wood during the episode, yes. But it's okay, yes. It's a very nice girl, she's very communicative, When she starts from, she knows when she's on front of the camera. Gestual communication.
Charisma.
I like it.
How do you call it? Charisma?
Yes, charisma. Charisma. Yes. She got a lot of charisma. Very nice lady. Well, she offered at the beginning a kind of course, or a week seminar, and I remember that the job, the work that we had to do, just for free, just for free, invite people just for free. The stuff was nowadays technology stuff. You are meeting different people and everywhere. So the work was do a video presentation about you in just 1 minute. So we had to send that exercise to the platform, and then we discussed with her and the other people of the group. He corrected us the spelling, the grammar stuff. I think that was a very good exercise for me, because I use that video when I know in new people on Tandem. This is my brief 1 minute video presentation. Yeah, so the people had in 1 minute, because today people don't have a lot of time just to show. That's why the reason also, because I used to say that just 15-20 minute talk, because the people, well, you and me, we can start listening for more time, but most of the people on the internet,
I know. Unfortunately, it is like that in this world.
Yeah, so it's been so useful, my presentation in English. And from that idea, I did in Spanish, a more longer presentation where I put some short video, because I've been appearing on national TV twice, 3 times, you see, for my activity. I remember in the 80s, because of my radio stuff, I was kind of famous, not famous, but an exchange guy from San Fernando doing this stuff, or listening radio, sending reception report, collecting stuff from radio. It was a very rare hobby. I was in a national famous program in Latin America, in Chile, Don Francisco, programs on Saturday. And then
go on, sorry.
No. And the next story about podcasting, I sent the info about my podcasting to a technology TV program. They used to talk about technologies. And I said, hey guys, I'm doing a podcast here in Chile. And they same the next week, they came to here in the next week to tell, what are you doing? What's podcast stuff? And it's a new technology in the world. And this guy from outside Santiago, they said that was the motivation, because they think that the important stuff occurs just in Santiago. But not from region, from a small city. There's some crazy people doing different stuff.
I think it would be so interesting to hear the whole story in more detail. I mean, your story, how you were on radio and all that stuff, to just focus on that topic, because I'm sure this would be amazing.
Really? Well, I think for you.
Yes.
You see, I received similar word that you are saying from retired teacher from Russia, and a retired, not teacher, but a retired lady from United States, that they were inspired watching my activities on the net, my YouTube channel, my podcast stuff. How is this guy, a retired guy, doing so different stuff, So that's made me feel so good that from this small country I could inspire another people in different cultures, different languages,
Yeah, this is so beautiful, and sometimes we don't even know what happens, right? Because somebody can listen to your podcast, and it can have an impact on their lives, and they can get inspired and make something, and you don't know it always, but I sometimes got messages from people who said to me that I inspired them, and they created a podcast because they listened to me, and this is so beautiful. It's like a butterfly effect, right? Because
right.
In a very beautiful way, and it doesn't bring you, you don't earn money, right? But you bring like good feelings and
inspiration.
Inspiration.
Say the word, I think. Well, you see, I never been doing that stuff to cost that. I do it because I like it, It's my way of communicate. I don't know why.
It's the same here.
I remember that I was playing this stuff to my friend in Janet from New Mexico, you see. I told the story that my mother was an amateur writer. You see, she didn't achieve so important stuff in the world of writing locally or nationally, but she liked just writing. And I always used to hear that my mother said, I don't know why I write. I had to write. I don't know why. I don't know if my writing are good or bad, but I write. I usually, that's kind of thought in my stuff. I don't know if what I'm doing is good or bad, but I like to do it. I don't know why.
That is the most important thing, that you like it, and then it's all good.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it, since I've been out of my regular job. I've been, motivated, trying to find new guests, talking with new people. Well, my way of life.
I am going to have a barbecue. Vamos a hacer un asado. So
okay.
I have to finish up slowly but steadily. But we could do another conversation on another day. I would be very happy about that.
Yeah, me too. Okay, we have to cut it up this right now because you see my wife is here.
Okay, it was really nice chatting to you, Carlos. Thank you so much.
Too. No, thank you.
I will send you the...
Mis amigos del mundo digital. My friends from the digital world. Si le gustó el video, dele un me gusta compártalo en sus redes sociales y suscríbase a mi canal. De esta forma estará ayudando a Profesor Youtuber Retirado. Muchas gracias por su atención.